flying blind. You know, we've all been in planes. You go in a plane, you fly through clouds, you fly through fog, right? If I'm not a pilot,
21, 9 minutes. Kind of excited here. Let's see what happens. I'm excited because I have no risk on, and I understand the implications if I'm in a trade. Because I'd be shitting myself right now. If I got into a trade right now, look, if I said, fuck it, I'm going long off the 20 EMA right now, and I'm going to hold into news, I'd be shitting myself for like fucking 10 minutes here waiting for that to happen. And we could liquidate all the way down to this fair value gap and take off,
I would say,
you know, or, you know, anything can happen, you know, and it's just being in a position like that.
So let's say it is moderately stronger and you don't get
right
a 25
before
basis point
a
rate
news
cut
event
next month.
that
Does that mean that a 50 basis point
most
rate cut in
likely is going to
January
have a
more
huge
likely?
impact is
I don't think
completely
so.
fucking
I
insane.
think that
I
they
mean, it's
feel
not
moving
the right way to
gradually
do
is
this, in
appropriate,
my
particularly
I
when
just,
you're so
the reason I
close
say
to
that,
neutral.
guys,
So
I don't
think
mean to
that,
lecture or tell people
if
how
they
to do their
skip,
business,
we're still looking
but I've
for
just paid
25
for
basis
so many
point
fucking
rate cut in
evals,
January. The
blown
market
so
has
many
been very
PAs
efficient in terms
that
of
I've
its
done it
repricing.
for. I've done it
So
for.
the
I've
past
paid
few
for
days,
it for
you've
you
seen the
guys.
probability of December go
You know,
down. But
you don't
all of
have to
those
go
rate
through the
cuts
mental
have really just been
distress
pushed
of
into
doing that to
2026,
yourself, because I
and
can
the
tell you
terminal rate for the
that
Fed funds rate hasn't actually
if
changed
you take a
very much.
long enough
So it's still
sample,
around
you're not going to come out ahead
3.1%
if you're gonna
approximately.
trade like that.
So the market is really
You know,
looking at
the
this
right way to
as
be
a
in it is
skip,
if you got
not
in
a
down
pause,
here,
not
you're
a
in
hold.
profit. Maybe
And
you
I
took
think that the
contracts
dot
off and you
plot
left
is
one
also
on,
going
so
to
you got in with
communicate
2 or
that, meaning
3.
even if they don't
You
cut
took,
in December,
you know, you took them
the,
off and you only got one
2026
left, and maybe you
dot
put
is
your
going to be
stop loss at
below
the
the current Fed
VWAP
funds rate.
or just
I don't
under
wanna
the
go back to
50,
this, but
and you've got
the
this
idea of the
profit locked in.
expiration
So if
date
it
of the food in your
liquidates, fuck
fridge.
it, fine,
70,
you're in
60-day-old
profit,
Wonder Bread
but you
or
took a
canned
calculated
beans are very
risk that
different
it's
than
going to go
76
higher.
day-old
You can't enter the
strawberries.
trade
And I just
right now or
wonder
while the
how
volume is
useful
happening
it
on a
potentially
margin
could
account.
be. Even
I'm
if you
just
maybe
telling
don't want
you.
to eat it, you could eat it and not
I'm not
get
trying to
sick.
tell
I mean,
anyone
is there
anything.
something in
You
this
know, I'm not
job
trying
that's
to
going to
like
be relevant to how
sound like
you
I'm
see
some
the
kind of
trajectory for the
guru
Federal
or I
Reserve?
fucking some kind of master, because I'm not.
What I would say is, if you look
You
at
know,
the NFP
I let this
chart,
I let this shit turn me into a
Bloomberg
fucking
terminal,
basket,
you type
mental
in GP,
basket
what you're
case
gonna
for a
see
very long
is a
time before I
sawtooth
started
pattern,
figuring out what it was
the
doing to
jobs
me.
numbers don't go in a straight line.
You know,
you have a slightly hotter, you have a
the
slightly
shit
weaker.
right here
You have to
can
focus
trick
on
you
the
into
trend.
doing stuff
And so
that
that's
you
what
would
I'm
never
going to be
do.
focused on in
You
a
know,
few minutes' time.
there's
I'm gonna be
people who would
looking at
never
what the
walk
3 and
into a
6 month
casino
moving
and really
averages
gamble
are. I'm
and then
also going to be
completely
looking
lose their
at how
fucking
much of the
minds on
jobs
a
are
move like this right
cyclical
now
versus acyclical.
and do something completely
so
irrational
most of the
outside
hiring
of
that
their
we've been
character.
seeing,
You know,
really in the last 6 to 12 months,
you have
has
somebody
been
who's
acyclical
been working their
hiring,
ass off for
which
you
is,
know
I
20
think, an
years,
indication of the fact
built
that
up a good
the labor market
savings, have
under
a
the
house,
surface is a
a
little
couple
bit more
kids,
squishy.
couple cars,
Why that
stable
matters
guy,
to the Fed,
everybody,
it doesn't
you know,
mean that they need to do emergency cuts,
you know, just good
but
people.
it does mean that if they
Turn
do
you into a
continue
fucking
to cut, it doesn't
psychomaniac
threaten
trying
their
to
inflation
figure out what's
mandate.
going
And
on
that's really,
with the
the
market,
question here is,
because
if
it
they
doesn't
continue
make
to
sense
cut,
to a
does
rational
that
person.
threaten their ability
It's
to
a
get
different way
back
of
to
thinking.
2% on inflation? And we would say,
You know,
no, that we're not really seeing evidence
I guess that's
in
why
the
when you
cyclical
watch,
sides of the
you
economy
know,
that wages are reaccelerating
you
or
watch,
the labor market is retightening.
you know,
From your
shows or
view, how
movies that
political
cover
has December
trading,
gotten?
and they're, you know, it's always full
I'm
of
not sure
like
it's
fucking
gotten
dudes
particularly
like
political.
railing lines of
I
cocaine
think
off
this
the
is
back of the
actually
toilet
more
at
about the
lunch and
fact that we
fucking,
are getting
you know,
close
living
to
life on the
estimates
edge of
of
extreme
neutral.
all
And
the
so
fucking
every
time. I can
single
understand.
decision from here on out just gets harder. And to be fair,
You know, if you don't want to live your life like that,
for them without some of the data that they had. So
you've got
I wouldn't
to find a
necessarily
way
say it's more
to
political.
control
I
what's
just think that
happening here
it's a
with the
tougher
pace
part
that
of
you
the
want to be
economic
at.
cycle to try to determine
And
what's
that's what
going
I've
on.
tried to
I'm
do
going to
with
ask
the
this question
strategy.
earlier on. I'd love
And it
your
can be
view,
a bit
your
boring.
opinion as a market participant, how you would react if they delayed the meeting until after the data
All right,
dropped
we got
on
5
December
minutes to the
16th.
news
I'm
drop,
not saying they're
guys.
gonna do
5
that.
minutes.
Just as a market participant, how would you respond to that? Is that a good thing?
I would be very surprised. I think the market would be very surprised. I mean, that's
Surprised
completely...
in a negative way, though.
I mean, I'm thinking through this as you're laying it out
Sure,
for
no
me.
worries.
And I guess the market would probably view that as the risk that the data that they're going to receive is weaker. And so, you know, the Fed wants to pause so that they don't miss an opportunity to cut and then have to wait all the way till January. But it seems like a pretty
All right, so we got a little bit of a
they put
VWAP
out those
bounce, got
dates
4
for
minutes
the
till the
schedule
drop.
I know.
years in advance.
It's good to gauge some
check
of this,
out
though.
the
That's how a
ES.
market participant would think about it.
So
if
right
they
now we got a
delayed
whole page
the
of
meeting.
news here about to
was
drop,
savvy.
guys.
In other words, it raises the chance of them cutting actually above where they are now. That would be how it's perceived.
Let's see
in
what the
markets.
candle. Let's
Chelsea
see what
Barrett
the
of
first
JP Morgan
candle
is gonna
looks
be
like
sticking
on the
with us
news drop.
into the jobs number. That jobs number drops in about 4 minutes' time. Up next, Nita Richardson of ADP will be here to react. Mike McKee
is here to break it down. The jobs number up next.
Adam, did you just show up, Adam? I just gave a 20-minute speech on how to handle news when it's a big drop. Were you listening, or did you just show up? You want me to cover it again? Okay. So, look, we've got a whole page of news that's going to drop in 1:53 seconds. We're waiting for the countdown. So, what I was trying to explain, yeah, Spiznik. Spiznik wasn't listening either. He's in the long. Are you talking about LIDR, or are you talking about the ES and NQ? So listen, man, don't do anything, and I'm going to explain why. And I was trying to explain this because I should almost clip it out, and because I paid for enough evals and blown PAs for everybody who ever shows up here and wants to hang out and try and figure out what we're doing, you know, with this trading.
Leaders Summit bringing together heads of states of 21.
The last thing you want to do on a margin account
to gain additional leverage
is enter a trade right before the news, trying to guess what direction the first wick is going to go.
Trust Bloomberg for on-the-ground coverage.
Because the volume that spills in is going to be 10 to 15 times higher than the last candle at a minimum, okay? And there's going to be no sense to it. So you're just out there naked, hoping that you hit your take profit before your stop loss. You can't trade like that. The proper way to play this, if you were going to, was the long signal was down here, right?
U.S. jobs numbers.
So right here was the long signal. We got 28 seconds. 28 seconds, guys.
At terminal speed.
Let me draw this real quick.
Jobs day like Bloomberg.
The long signal was down here.
Second largest economy with a
right?
growing influence in global affairs. Bloomberg, the China Show, brings you the unmatched expertise you need to keep track of breaking news, in-depth market analysis.
Anyway, we got 10 seconds. So the long signal was down here. Right?
I think we caught a little sweet spot
right here. You needed to be in somewhere around the 50 or here we go. We got a big spike up. News drop, news drop.
On Bloomberg. Context changes.
All right,
everything.
we're off to the races, guys. What are we gonna have? We going higher or lower? News is dropping now. Let's read it off as it comes in. Here we go. U.S.
September jobs report.
Initial jobless claims.
Before the December Fed
only
meeting.
220, forecast was 227, so that went down. Job claims going down, U.S. non-farm payrolls 119, well that's higher. Forecast was 50K, so this is higher.
Single basis point with a jobs number.
Unemployment rate 4.4, that went up. Unemployment rate went up, so this is not necessarily good news so far. But you see, you wanted to be in at the actual long signal, Adam, which was down here, and then take a couple contracts off if it's going your way, and then hold one, but have your stop at like the VWAP or down here, or break even, and then that way if it goes your way, you catch it, but if it doesn't, you're out. Yeah, this is the first round since the shutdown. This is a big drop. This is a really big drop here, guys. We're blowing off the screen now.
Hours 34.2.
The change in private payrolls, 97,000.
So it's not a, maybe people were, maybe people were like, as long as it's not a complete disaster, we're okay.
August. They don't.
Hey, Guru Jay, how you doing?
necessarily
Be careful,
revisions
man.
at
We
this
just
month. I'll have
walked
to
into
go
probably
deeper
the
into
biggest
that
news
number
we've had in
to
2
see
months.
if we
So,
have that.
like, this is not really tradable right
of
now.
119 comes after a minus 4,000 in August. August revised down to minus 4,000. So that is a change in the definitely in